What's up, my friends? I'm Matt. This is the 10-minute Bible Hour. 1 second. Welcome to my favorite place to fish. Oh, it hit immediately. And I completely missed. There's a fish right there. I put my fly right on it. I am terrible at this, but I'm glad that we get to hang out together for a minute in the place that I wanted to show you that I think is just absolutely rivetingly gorgeous. I just thought it'd be pretty to have a conversation here about something completely unrelated, and that is this age-old Christian apologetics maxim that a lot of times you'll hear referred to as C.S. Lewis's trilemma. It goes like this. See if you've heard it before. Based on the words and works and history that we know about Jesus of Nazareth and what is in the Bible, Jesus must necessarily be one of three things. One, he is a liar who just tricked people and made stuff up and tried to deceive to gain power or for some sick, perverted joke. Possibility number two, he's a lunatic, crazy man, and other people got caught up in his delusion of deity, and he didn't mean to do things wrong, he was just nuts. Option number three, if he's not one and he's not two, the reasoning would go, he must be Lord, exactly who he claimed to be, God in the flesh. And this was something that was presented to me as a kid, and it made a ton of sense. I think it came up at camp. And I remember thinking, there's no way I am going to call Jesus a liar, and there's no way I would say he's crazy. I've read the Bible, I've heard his teachings. Those aren't the rantings of a crazy man. This is beautiful stuff that he teaches. So yeah, if there are only three options, I guess I have to go with Lord. And that's not how I became a Christian as a kid or why I was a Christian as a kid, but it definitely came up, and it was even something that I think some good people in my life encouraged me to repeat. And we're like, hey, if you say this, it really puts people in a bind and they have to reckon with what they do with Jesus. And they're probably right. But the more I watch the world unfold and the more I watch things become... Oh, I think I just missed him. Yeah, he'll be back, and I'll be back too. I'm getting excited about the C.S. Lewis stuff, and I'm missing trout as we speak. The more I look at the world and the way things are, the less I think that trilemma makes sense now. Back in the day, I think everybody would have had a mindset like me when Lewis was writing in the mid-20th century, and I've heard that there are people who made variations of the same argument dating back 100 plus years before him, clear into the 19th century. But back then, I think people were in the same place I was. I'm not calling him a liar, and I'm not calling him a crazy man. So, okay, if my only other option is Lord, then I'll go with that. But now, we live in a very different time where some of those theological assumptions aren't just baked into everybody's brain and everybody's read on planet Earth. I think what's baked into everybody's brain right now is our social war thing that we have to do, our information wars, our fights that we have to have with the dangerous others, rather, who we have to believe are wrong about everything. And it's a pity, but I feel like that stupid fight we're always in with each other is co-opting everything. It's co-opting art and love and beauty and adventure and the journey of life and friendship. It's just, everything has to be politics. Everything has to be a fight. It wears me out, but unfortunately, it also co-opts Jesus. And I think 150, 200 years ago, when people thought about Jesus, even 50 years ago, they thought about that more in the categories of religious faith, individual life journey, and even what happens after death. Now, it seems like the Jesus conversation is often reduced to one more factor in this ongoing battle. Meaning, I think folks are going to be a lot more comfortable with saying, maybe he's a liar, maybe he was crazy, or maybe he's just mistaken. I think a lot of people would jump to that option right now if you had the Lewis Trilemma conversation with them. If somebody wants to look at the life of Jesus and say, I think he was mistaken, but not crazy and not a liar, that's giving him the benefit of the doubt, and it kind of requires a closer look. You have to consider how the Bible got to us if you want to make that claim. You have to consider how someone could do the things that are credited to him and honestly not know that none of them were happening. You have to consider how somebody could believe he just fed 5,000 people with one lunchbox, but he didn't actually feed 5,000 people. He just read it wrong. You have to wonder how somebody could believe that they were going to be raised from the dead, and then they were raised from the dead, but they weren't actually raised from the dead. They were just confused on that. So maybe it's cool to accept the idea that to take the claims of Jesus seriously in this day and age, in this moment in time, means to take your time with it. And maybe that mistaken option is really just somebody keeping the door open to say, I need to think about this at length, and I need to think about this more. I just missed him again! And I need to think about this more carefully. The reason this is on my mind is because I've been thinking a lot about the trilemma as a logical structure for the last week. I just launched a new podcast. It's called Ironwood Rhino, and it's this thing where we bring people in and we let them tell their weirdest outlier fringe story, like their one brush with the unexplained or something they haven't been able to make sense of, and then we poke at it a little bit and try to make sense of it, and we use it as a thought exercise to game out how we know what's true and what isn't true. If you like the kind of conversations we have on this channel, I think you'll dig it too, so I'd be honored if you would go over and check it out. But the structure of each episode is just this. We hear a story, and then we wonder, is the person who's telling this strange and difficult to believe story a liar, a crazy person, mistaken, or do we just not understand the world as well as we thought we did? Thank you for going fishing with me and for thinking about the Lewis Trilemma in light of the moment in which we live now. I'm going to go try and get this fish that has been eluding me while we've been chatting. If I get anything interesting, I'll throw it on the end of the video. I'm Matt, this is the 10-Minute Bible Hour. Let's do this again soon. Got one.